I'm sure you've heard in recent times people telling you don't write the caste in the caste census. They are trying to divide us. And on the face of it, it has sounded legitimate. And you, as a responsible citizen, you have decided, no, I am not going to be party to any divide and rule. I will not write my caste. You couldn't be more wrong. And for the first time I'm saying this, please stay with me till the end, because by the time we finish, I have a feeling that you would have changed some of your thinking. Namaskar. Welcome to Bharat Chintan, where we talk about everything that is important for our nation to thrive and prosper. So far in this series, it's a 5-video series, we have discussed about caste, discrimination, Jaatiya Janaganana, why banning Jatis could be disastrous for Bharat. Now, in this last video of the series, I'm going to talk about the demands. The caste census is a fact, it's coming. So we should be prepared with our demands so that the census is done properly. I have taken myself off of the screen so that you can get a better view of the data. As far back as in 2018, I laid out 10 data points we need in a caste census. It was the result of the rising Brahmin bashing that was clear on social media. Since then, it has become such a constant that, and it's so prevalent that we no longer pay attention to it. We dismiss it most of the time. I will not read the whole thread here. You can pause and read if you wish. With a better understanding of how narratives impact policy, what I'm going to list today is what we all should demand from the caste census. Remember, judge these points based on these issues. The first one is the government cannot support 145 crores. No government in the world can. Government has many schemes that help the poor in historically depressed classes, but very few for the non-BPL. That is the general category. The question is, are they forever going to suffer because of the category they were born in? If the government cannot support them, where will they go for help? Money lenders, banks, big corporations. What are the ways that we can ensure that these people also get an equal chance to become prosperous? It is clear that we need BPL data for all communities out in the open to ensure that prosperity for all is achieved sooner rather than later. When it is clear that the state cannot realistically roll out enough schemes or ensure speedy implementation to cater to all needs, who are the people who can be trusted to create a sort of a decentralized ecosystem to aid the needy? So here goes. Let us go directly to the demands. Number 1, economic reality. Don't just ask me my caste, ask my financial stability. What if a major surgery or a treatment that requires 15 lakhs strikes my family? Ask me if I can survive on my own finances. If I say yes, no more questions needed. If I say no, then if there are 4 members in my family, that 4 number has to be added to the economically vulnerable in my community, even if I am a Brahmin or a general category. Land ownership, the next point. Ask me if I have land or own home. The reality is that there is a vast majority of the so-called upper caste who never reach an economic state where they have their own house or land. If I say yes, ask me other questions. For example, like, do I have home loan? Do I have the ability to service it in case there is a tragedy or a calamity? If I say no, then my family is automatically added as the vulnerable population of my caste or jati. The third point is educational debt, because education is important. Ask me if I have children who will have to drop out of higher education without financial assistance. If I say no, no more questions needed. But if I say yes, then my family goes into a count of vulnerable population within my caste or jati. Now there is a point, this is what point number 1, 2, 3, 4. Professional data. Ask me if my family has a historical profession, and if it does my family still follow it? Like, for example, the most prominent is the pujaris or purohits among the Brahmins. Ask me other questions like, does it meet my family's financial needs? If I say yes, then no more questions need to be asked. If I say no, then obviously I and my entire family go into the vulnerable population in my caste or jati. The Karta sibling audit. The lateral safety net. Don't just ask about my immediate dependents.
Ask about my lateral support. How many siblings does the karta, the head of the family, have to share the generational burden? If I say 2 or more, the burden is shared, so no further questions. But if I say 0, which means I am a single point of economic and caregiving failure, my family goes straight into the critical vulnerability count. Because if I fall, the state has to catch everyone.
After this personal data, the next point, a small association audit. Ask me if I have access to community support for emergencies. Like we have heard of Marwadi, Agarwal and Jain associations, haven't we? They provide financial assistance to support expensive treatment among the poor within their community. Now, what this means is that this reduces the criticality of a weaker financial status within these communities. This will help document how many private community safety nets are already existing within the country and how they are taking the burden off of the state. Please stop calling it communalism. Call it public service, because that is what it is. Now, if I say yes, that I have access to such an association, then no more questions need to be asked. But if I say no, obviously. The next point is administrative merit tracking. Ask me if I have been receiving government schemes. If I have, then you need to ask me if I can survive without those schemes. Now this will create a better picture of how successful these schemes are. Now if I say yes or no, you know how my family needs to be categorized. Now there is a hidden factor, the community power factor. Ask me if there are any members of my community in places of power, and obviously whether I feel I can depend on them at times of distress. Now this question has an additional advantage, that it will force the people to think whether it is appropriate to vote on the basis of jati and caste. Obviously the yes and no answer will define where my family lies. Then there is internal displacement. Specifically track socio-economic status of displaced groups like the Kashmiri Pandits. This sort of displacement is a trauma that doesn't disappear within a generation or so, and the effect lasts for multiple generations. They might need to be given special attention even if they are from the general category of what is called the upper caste. Now the last 2 points are where we need to be very, very vocal. Number 1 is transparency. The raw data, without the names and personal details, the raw data must be public. There should be no hidden data, because when you hide data, it gives the political parties the opportunity to use it selectively for their own political gains. We don't want that. This is the area where the divide happens. So to prevent the divide, make sure that everybody has all the data. Nobody can demand in excess of what their community needs. To ensure that transparency is the most important thing. And last but not the least, the data, the analysis of our social financial structure should be part of the school's curriculum. Social studies, especially in class 8, 9, 6, 7, 8, 9. This can be taught. Let the children grow up knowing the facts about the diversity. That poverty is not restricted by caste. Privilege is not given to only certain communities. Both exist in all communities. And this is something very, very important that we have to ensure after the current caste census is over. The sense of cohesion and oneness, the apanapan, is actually a strength that can be utilized to ensure that we reach the goal of prosperity to all much faster. Why not capitalize on this strength? Why not empower the Jati associations to take care of their own? The more communities that take responsibility of their own people, the easier it is for the government to look after the ones who get left out of these. I am not saying discrimination should be condoned. What I am saying is that just as families become the strength for a person in distress, the Jati associations can be the strength for families in distress. This will actually have a very positive impact on our goal of achieving prosperity for all. You would ask, why should we care about all this? The thing is, let us not put our heads in the sand. The world today is getting fragmented. As we move forward, every fragment becomes exponentially more vulnerable to large entities. And the large entities, their only purpose in life is to make more money. They don't care about the people. When you think about it, dependence on families, the familiar, the related, is any day better than being dependent on faceless entities. I have said from the start, eradicating the social binding of Jati will actually make us more vulnerable. The effort might be to homogenize, but homogenization is not good for society. Society remains viable because of diversity. As we know, bring on the Jaatiya Janaganana. We are not afraid. Bring it on, but do it well. Do it with the intention of solving the problems and not leveraging the data for electoral gains. Do it with the goal of promoting a genuine social security for the vulnerable based on the Jati Varna Vyavastha in the right sense. Groups that work with the government and each other to ensure that everybody gets the chance to uplift themselves. It's time to stop the propaganda. Stop believing that the surname is a sign of wealth. Stop believing that serving your own community is communalism. Stop believing that, stop allowing the state to hijack our cohesion and fragment us further. It's time we looked at Bharat with fresh eyes. The Jati Janaganana is inevitable. How it progresses is in our hands. So, internalize these demands and spread the message. Ask, demand. No government can deny legitimate demands by the people. This has been a labor of love. It has taken a lot of research and analysis, debating with myself whether going against the grain like this is really the right thing to do. My conclusion was that yes, it is the right thing to do. Our jatis and varnas are not automatically discriminatory. It is the ability to prevent other jatis from getting the benefits from the government that creates the tension. If the jati groupings are allowed to create schemes that benefit their own people, it just makes things much, much easier and faster for the government to achieve its Viksit Bharat goal. I am Vinaya Pai, signing off for now. If you like this, do consider spreading the word a little and giving this a thumbs up. Namaskar.